think that General Patton was woke? I don't think so. What do you think, Mike? Mike, was he woke? I don't think so. I don't think he was too woke. He was the exact opposite. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit, okay? Look at what's happening. Job, because now we have more people that have died of COVID in 2021 with the vaccines, with the therapeutics. More people died in 2021 than in all of 2020. But the media is silent. They don't talk about that. They hate to talk. Incredible. You know, they're allowed to say that about me. They called it illegitimate. They called it everything in the book. It was fine. When I say it, now here's the difference. Hillary conceded. I never conceded. Never. Never conceded. No reason to concede.
Speaks about spiritual warfare. That the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Something that is in the heavens, something that is over this nation right now, has to be pulled down, and it cannot be pulled down by Joe Biden. It cannot be pulled down by the President of the United States. It cannot be pulled down by politicians. It can only be pulled down by the spiritual leaders that have set their heart towards the kingdom, not towards failure, but towards the kingdom, and says, now we will pray, and whatever spiritual stronghold is over our nation, it will come to an end. I am one of those voices, just one voice, just one voice, just one voice.
All right. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. Man, what a wonderful time to be alive. I'm going to keep on saying it, folks, because it's the truth. We're the lucky ones that get to witness the precipice of all human history. Isn't it a wonderful thing? All right. Here we go. I did want to mention that I understand a lot of people are having, especially even my ex-wife is having to get a religious statement on why you don't want to take something you don't want to take if you're going to claim religious exemption. And I've gotten a few calls from some friends asking me what I thought about it, and I told them to use Psalms 91. I mean, it mentions it right there in the verses of Psalms 91. So I think if any of y'all need anything like that, I'm happy to just let me know. But first, now that we're going to get into this, I want to kind of set the stage on how this all got started. So, comment led me into researching some information about a prayer that General Flynn had said. It led on into something I was already thinking about doing the show for anyway, but let's start off just by seeing the video here of what exactly General Flynn said.
We are your instrument of those sevenfold rays and all your archangels, all of them. We will not retreat. We will not retreat. We will stand our ground. We will not fear to speak. We will be the instrument of your will, whatever it is. In your name and the name of your legions, we are freeborn. and we shall remain freeborn, and we shall not be enslaved by any foe, within or without. So help me God.
All right. Well, there you go. General Flynn, in his own words. How do you like that? I'll just leave that right there. I've got some information that I'm going to give you about the 7 rays of light. It's definitely different kind of viewpoint than True News and this Mr. or Pastor or whatever he is. Rick Wiles has definitely different. I've mentioned this before in past videos that we're in probably the largest information war and psychological operations ever known to humankind. And the American people are the target. Because as the American people go, America goes. So whoever controls the minds of Americans controls the world. True News, in my opinion, and through my discernment, shows all indications of being controlled opposition. Fake news to control the population. Alright, but before I go too deep into the shady background of Mr. Rick Wiles and True News, let's go ahead and discern the rest of this clip. Let's shine the light on his accusations against a patriot and another church and another pastor. Let's apply some discernment to it and see if we can sniff out the truth about True News. Now, this first clip I'm going to show you is the first lie, the first falsehood, the first false preaching, the first false statement that came out of this lost soul's mouth. And we'll go from there. I'm going to put his fruits on display for all to see.
God. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you very much.
Well, the general did not pray in the name of Jesus Christ. He prayed in his name, meaning the name of the angel that he was addressing and the name of his legions.
All right, well, there it is. His first accusation that can be proven wrong. I mean, just by rewinding. Not even a minute. Yeah, sure, he doesn't pray directly to Jesus Christ, but he says, "So help me God," right at the end of his prayer. I mean, not every congregation ends or starts a prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It doesn't mean you have to. I mean, Yehovah, he's still God in many different forms, right? All right, then. So this guy is disingenuous. He's a deceiver. He's got the clothes of a sheep on, but he's a wolf, my friend. He is a wolf. Right here you go. Here's the end where General Flynn prays to God.
By any foe, within or without. So help me God. So help me God. So help me God. 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 Me God.
Alright, well, that's as far as I'm really going to go with these guys. I think they've shown their true colors. I'll invite you to go ahead and watch the rest of it. It kind of, tell you the truth, it kind of made my skin crawl. I'll just say this. It looks like what they call it controlled opposition. Look that word up. I don't want to slander anybody, but it takes just a little bit of research on this individual and his fruits will be told. So that's kind of what you're supposed to judge people by right now, and that's how you're supposed to have discernment, is just go back and look what they've sowed. Look at what kind of fruits sprouted up around them. That'll tell you a lot. I mean, but you also have to have discernment to see if they truly changed their ways, because there's some people that have repented for the hell. I was a hell of a sinner, and I still, by far, perfect man. But I'm learning, and I don't want to sit here and criticize this guy, but I don't think he's anybody worth spending any time on. We know what he is. And I think that's good enough. Everybody should just, if you don't have the discernment to see what that guy's spinning isn't true, we got a lot of work to do, folks. Because it's pretty much obvious to me. I mean, he goes through and pretty much attaches every kind of slander you can on a person, everything from being racist to satanic to cultist, New Age, which, like I said, or if I haven't said it, I'll say it now. I'm pretty sure the Pharisees looked at Jesus Christ as a New Age religion when he walked into town. And so be careful, man. There's all sorts of things where we should not judge, but we need to call out the wolves when we see them to protect the other sheep, right? That's all I want to do here, and let's move on. And let's actually talk about the seven rays. Let's talk about the 7 rays, and then how that actually does tie back all the way to the Bible, and how it kind of ties into science, and of course, that's kind of like a confirmation for me when you can find it in the Bible, and then you can see how it works out and plays out on multiple levels, not even on the spiritual level, but on our physical level right here. And 7 rays of light, I mean, it's a well-known fact that when you break up light through a prism, it has 4 colors or 7 colors of the rainbow that come through the prism. So there's that. And of course, we are creatures of light, and then the more you start learning about what quantum physics and some of the studies they've done around the black hole, well, the Bible might be right on. The 7 rays of light might be right on. But I want to take us all the way through the history, because it does go back. And I got some pictures I want to share with y'all. And we'll take it from there. Let's not waste our time bumping our gums about some wolves that are trying to scare the sheep. Let's just point out the wolves. Those good shepherds will help keep them at bay, keep pointing them out, and we'll just stay away from them. That's the best thing to do right now, and we just say a little prayer. I'm sure God will find it in His ways and ultimate wisdom to figure that one out for Himself. So let's proceed. I just want to take you down this road of investigation that I kind of got got put on years ago where I just wanted to learn about everything. It first took me to an individual named Chuck Messler, and I'll put up some information about him. But I got turned on to him through a friend and looked him up, and I started listening to his lectures, and unfortunately he passed away, I think in 2017 or 18. And man, was he a mind for the ages, and a devout Christian. If none of y'all haven't checked him out, or any of y'all haven't checked him out, or any of y'all had, then you know what I'm talking about. If y'all haven't, I recommend that you do. Just for the simple reason, he brings the spiritual world to the physical world on a scientific level. The guy is a great mind. I think he started off going into Stanford for a mechanical electrical engineer or something like that. And he got recruited right away by West Point, pulled over to West Point, and he's pretty much had a hand in all of the latest technology from almost the last 60 years. He is pretty much designed all of our guidance systems for a lot of our munitions and rockets and whatnot. But he is, like I said, a devout Christian. But what he does is he brings a new way of looking and reading the Bible to you. And he explains it in a really good way. And he brings that science and the spirituality together and puts it back in its rightful seat of where it belongs, because science is really the study of our surroundings, and well, God created the surroundings, so in all actuality it's the study of God. If you want to know God, the best way to know God is learn about your environment. I got to listen to him and following him and learning. He mentioned something about the software that they out have now, how you can pretty much get this software and you can cross-reference the Greek Septuagint and the Old Torah, and you can actually get the exact written verses. And well, you can, hell, with the internet being an amazing thing, it could actually be used for something other than pornography and yelling at each other. It's a great tool when you can find nice little nuggets like this. Of course, I wanted to know who wrote the software, and even the software has a pretty cool story about who developed it and everything. And this is it. This is the website. I'll put the link in there, and you can pretty much, like I said, you can. It's a truth teller. It is a powerful tool. You want to know something. You want to know what it really said from the beginning. Well, you can do it right here. So I invite you to do this, because it took me down a wonderful road when learning about the rays of light. There's nothing about that in the Bible. Oh my gosh, it's heresy. It's burn them at the stake. Well, anybody that doesn't want you to learn about something, start questioning. Why don't they want me to know that? That was the worst thing to tell me, not to do something when I was growing up. That sure as hell meant I was going to go do it. So, what I did, of course, when I'm trying to figure out which way to go about investigating something, I don't know if it's my background in environmental health and safety and doing safety or my background in troubleshooting and everything from air conditioning systems to boat motors, you name it. I'm a root cause guy. I like to get to the root cause of any problem, because therein lies the problem. And anything less than fixing the root, to me, is futile. It's just going to keep reoccurring eventually. So, with that said, I thought about what was the 7 rays. What are these 7 rays? Rays of light. Okay, well, rays of light in the Bible, and then 7. That's where I started. So let's start with the rays and go from there. And it's interesting, I freaking put the rays in when there's really nothing in the Bible with that. But I was trying to think of, okay, well, they probably didn't use that word. Maybe they didn't even use the word raise in Greek or use the word, well, they did, but they use other words. Starting with first, we should probably talk a little bit about the history. The whole 7 rays concept, it's been around for a while in quite a few religions. They call them esoteric philosophy. Western cultures as well as India, I guess, going back as far as 6th century BC, which I think the dating is kind of curious. The 7 rays were also referred to as Chileans or angels from heaven. And in text and iconic art of the Catholic Church, as early as the Byzantine Empire, you can see it referred to. You can see that there's a little bit more to this than a bunch of witchcraft and Freemasons, as implied by others. So it made me curious. It made me want to look more into it, especially knowing that someone was so adamant about framing this subject, which I found that curious. When someone comes across and they put up the whole effort into discrediting something so seemingly trivial at first, makes me go, well, why? And if you get down to it, I found it led to an amazing mystery which I haven't even figured out yet. And I'm going to have to invite you all to help me figure out, because it's probably going to take longer than this week's activity of putting together this video. Basically, I was like, okay, well, what's what? We've got the Bible software, which I talked about, so let me go check that out. Let me go freaking see if these 7 rays of lights are in there. Rays of light, it's not really a term that was used back then. Like I said, the Hebrew language was used and came about through the common use of everyday items, or the common observation of everyday life in general, our natural environment. So when you think of that language, it automatically pops into is like, man, they mention the lamp a lot in the Bible. I remember how in Exodus they talk about a detailed construction of lamps for the temple. And then, of course, Revelations got the 7 lampstands. And then I also seem to remember from the Bible that candlesticks were quite prominent. And had 7 candlesticks, I think they had 7 lampstands. Then when I went to start looking at the logos, or the language of the time, you have to understand, this is one thing that Chuck Messler actually turned me on to, is like about a quarter way through the book of Revelations, it becomes very Hebrew. Now that being said, there's a lot of scholars out there that think that the Hebrew was the spoken language, even though everybody says it was probably Greek or Aramaic. But to devout Hebrews and prophets like John the Baptist, or a Messiah like Christ, like Jesus, would that was the enemy. Rome was the enemy, so they wouldn't want to speak their language, and so they feel that maybe Hebrew was spoken more regularly than some scholars want us to believe. So with that being said, I always look at it. I always will look at it. I'll look at the Hebrew even though it's in the New Testament. And it seems to be a regular thing, because if it does have relations, if a word that you're looking at does have relations to the Hebrew strong, other than just the Greek strong, which you can look up both through the software and find the root meaning, it'll pop right up on the, all you have to do is hover over the word and it'll pop right up. And of course that happened in both cases with candlestick, lamps, and lampstands, all back to Hebrew strong. So I started with the Hebrew strong and I started with Greek strong. And there's multiple ways that the Hebrew language uses lampstand. And the way it was used and written in this one was that, well, let's just go into it and I'll show you. Pretty cool. So in the Old Testament, I believe it was in, I don't have it on here right this second, but I'll pop it up here once it comes up. I believe it was in Exodus 26:31 through 35. And there's a few other places throughout Exodus. I think it was through Numbers, and a few other books and I'll make sure to get those up, where lampstand or candlestick was used. Turns out that the Hebrew strong in Exodus, of course, is originally done in it because all the words have their Hebrew strongs, is Abner, which actually is Saul's cousin and army captain, who was treacherously slain by Joab. There's a lot of people who knew that there was a guy named Lamp. But evidently there's a guy named Lamp. And actually his name was Abner. And it actually means my father is a lamp. Or a light. So you see how this is. The lamp, light, and how their language progressed. So what's a lamp and a light? What's that? So you might not have 7 rays of light, but you might have 7 lamps. Or, so that was just right straight out of the Exodus verse. But then you also had it written in Revelation, which is where you had the candlesticks written there as well. I went and looked at the candlestick next, and because that seemed to be more representative. And I came across, of course, the candlestick in Greek, but then it also came up with a Hebrew strong. And I'll put that up there. It actually refers back to menorah. Menorah meaning candelabra, or a candle holder, which goes right back to Exodus. You see what's going on here? How this goes back and forth. How they tell you you're on the right track, and then it brings on a whole another journey, which we're about to get into. Because once you get understanding that, then you want to know, okay, well, what's the menorah? Well, the menorah, according to Hebrew or Jewish tradition or Jewish custom, and anybody's always welcome to correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm not perfect, believe me. But I believe it has to do with the 7 days of creation. Boom! Which the rays of light have to do with creation. You see how this is coming full circle now? I think this is kind of cool. And I even got to the Revelations part, and then it gets to the mystery. So that's where it really gets fun. So you want to really still need to go back to the history a little bit so you get the understanding of what they believe these rays are. These rays break down into 7 different colors, 7 different rays, and each ray carries a different aspect of the one true God, the one high God, the creator of all the heaven and earth. And these are like the creation rays, which is kind of cool, because if you go back, like I said, to the holographic universe, and if everything we're seeing is light and it's just impulses being transferred to our brain, light impulses and being reflected, that's all we're seeing. So it is kind of cool when you talk about creation story, and it explains all of the phenomenon throughout the world that it's never been able to explain. So it really makes sense, is what I'm trying to say. And then when you put it back to science, to the Bible like this, it's really fun. So basically you have the white, all white. Oh God, that's the first thing I remember seeing when I passed away when I was 16 and I was drawn up. It was nothing after I got out of hell. Drawn up into the light. It was just a brilliant, bright white, like I've never seen before, like an uncorrupted, brilliant, bright white. So this rings very true to me, and it's funny how some people will want to make you think that it stops at 1855, right? Whenever Mr. Bravowski, the supposable witch Satan worshiper, which, I mean, you can judge for yourself. You do your own homework on that, folks. But I think she was just someone looking for the truth. You find out it goes way back further than that. It makes you question why are they trying to discredit people as recently as the 1800s and then again in 1984 with Miss Claire Prophet, and it was brought up again. It's like they're mercilessly attacking these people. It's like, why are they attacking people that seem so incidental in the first place? Makes me think they probably tripped onto something. So this is probably going to take a little bit longer than what we have here today to scratch the surface, but it's going to get us started. And welcome. I'm going to go ahead and start a thread on my forum, or if somebody gets there before I can do it for me, you're more than welcome to. And make a discussion board on this, because I'd love to hear what people think about this, because it's really brought me to a mystery that is intriguing, to say the least. And I can't wait to get into it more. But let's go ahead and just, understand that this is not something new. Christians, this 7 Ray thing is something that's been going around since, 6th century, as far back as they trace it. So 6th century is boom, it's right there, guys. It's right when it was all going down. It's been depicted in monasteries and churches and artwork. I think there's even a church in Missouri somewhere that has the 7 rays depicted somewhere in there. So anybody that's trying to tell you to close your mind off and this is it, this is the final ruling, and I'm going to go ahead and declare this person a witchcraft, or this, history tells us. That's what they do. When people find out or do something that they don't like, man, best way to discredit them is, what do we do now? We call them racist or conspiracy theories, or, now that I know, dude, they took off their face this last year. They freaking lied to us in an obvious way. So it confirms that, hell, I can't trust anything now. They've been lying to us, so let's go find out how bad it is. Well, it's bad, folks. I mean, this guy's right here. He's been doing this for 20 years. 20 years. I thought this was just some internet podcast dude's out of his backyard. Dude, this guy's freaking... He's been spinning this deception for a long time. So, I mean, we need to relook at it. And I recommend you... I think that it really should be a personal trip with you and the Bible directly. The middlemen F everything up in all walks of life. And I think the first middleman was probably the ones that came between you and your Bible. Because half the freaking population couldn't even freaking read. Probably more than that back then. So, but now we have an online prophet that gives us a reading of the book, gives us a reading of the language. It gives us a way around the history that is written by the victors, because they can't change the language. We're gonna have to re-examine the whole everything, because the beast system has been growing since Adam stepped out of the Garden of Eden. And it seems to be a pattern that every time we get something that is a blessing from God, we always use it for the wrong reasons first, before we use it for the right. So when I found out you could get this software and you can look up stuff like this, and you can use this to help find discernment in a world where there's no more way to find the truth and everything seems to be a lie. Shoot, man. It's like a breathing fresh air or clean air for breathing for the first time, actually. And to realize is this is a way to confirmation of prophecy or confirmation of what God's telling you. It's all right here. It's a way for him to communicate. Read Chuck Messler. Chuck Messler has proven multiple times, or go look up his YouTube videos. He has tons of them out there. Multiple times of how this Bible of 66 books written across a span of thousands of years is wholly one literary product that is proven to be designed that way, which proves that it had to be done outside this time and space. I mean, look at the journey it took us with the rays so far. And I'm going to do a part 2 because I'm going to have to end this video because it's getting too long. But I will do a part 2 because it's cool shit. Just look at the 7 rays. It took us 7 rays. I can't find 7 rays. Well, the 7 rays took me to a lamp. Candlelight. Well, it turns out that's what it means. It even has another meaning to listen. It tells you that's the rays right there. You can go back and read all the verses where it's actually used in context of a sun ray or light ray. And then it takes you to Revelations, and then into where you're in the throne room of God, where the lighting seems to be a pretty important topic, and especially since there's not a sun, which is really cool. And then it takes you to these lampstands, candlesticks. Then it refers to 7 mysteries of these 7 stars. Well, the 7 stars are referred to in Revelations as angels, which rays are referred to as the 7 angels. So it goes to an incredible journey. And I'll try to make the post, because who knows, someone will probably find some stuff better than I can find out there. But it's some good stuff, especially when you'll be able to pull the language, get the language, confirm the language, confirm the truth, confirm God's truth, and then find it and pass it on to you. And then say, look, seek and you shall find. Find your own way, because it'll say something totally different to you. It'll say to me, it'll be the same top layer of data. But what the Bible does, it has multiple layers. And some of them will speak to where we're at as a society. Some of them will speak to you as where you are at in your family as a society, and where you're at personally as an individual. All within the scopes and eyes of God and the Lord Jesus Christ. So, we'll do a part 2. This is a good start on part 1 on this one, so we'll do a part 2, and it's going to be good because you get into the 7s, and the 7s that surround Trump, and all the 7s that are in Revelations or throughout the Bible. We'll finish up with some more of the history, as well as all the different lighting concepts that come into relation, not only through the scripture, but also through our natural observant of our world, what people would call science, but which seems to really be theology. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave it there. I'll get the next one out quicker than this one, but this really took me down a rabbit hole, so it's a lot of studying to do. It's been a good journey, so follow me. Hoorah!
And that's why I know that no way in the world did the American people vote for any of this, and that's why I believe Donald J. Trump is still our president.